Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of James and Elena's English Chat. I'm James, and I'm really excited about today's topic.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elena. It's so good to be here with you all again for a brand new conversation.
Before we dive in, I want to remind our listeners that this podcast is designed specifically for intermediate learners. If you are at a B1 or B2 level, this is the perfect place for you to practice.
That is right. And as always, please remember to relax. It is completely fine if you miss a few words or phrases. You do not need to understand every single thing. Just listen to the rhythm of our voices and try to follow the general flow of the story.
Exactly. Just go with the flow. Today, we are looking at a very relatable struggle, the kitchen table versus the restaurant booth. In other words, the choice between cooking at home and eating out.
This is a big part of daily life. When we are exhausted after work or school, we have to decide, do we use the frying pan or do we open a delivery app?
I have a confession, Elena. My history with the kitchen table is a bit embarrassing. When I first moved into my own apartment a few years ago, I wanted to prove I was a real adult. So I invited my older brother over for a nice dinner.
A nice dinner? That sounds like a big goal for your first week living alone. What did you try to cook?
I tried to make a simple spaghetti with tomato sauce, but I made a huge mistake. I didn't realize that you were supposed to drain the water. I thought the water just became part of the sauce, so I served him a bowl of thin, watery pink noodles.
Oh no, James. You served him pasta soup?
Yes, it was terrible and had no taste. My brother took one look at the bowl, then he looked at me, and he immediately pulled out his phone to order a large pizza. I felt so silly, but honestly, I was relieved because I didn't have to eat my own disaster.
Don't feel bad. We all have those moments when we just can't get it right. And sometimes that feeling of someone else bringing you food is like a warm hug.
It really is. But why does that feel so much better than trying to cook a healthy meal at home?
I think it's because it removes the mental load. For example, last week I had a very long day at a museum workshop. I was walking home in the cold rain and I was just exhausted. I had food in my fridge, but the thought of chopping onions and washing pans felt like too much work.
So what did you do? Did you order pizza like my brother?
Not this time. I walked past a tiny Greek restaurant near my house. I could see the warm yellow lights inside and the steam on the windows. I went in, sat in a soft booth, and ordered a hot bowl of lemon chicken soup. I didn't have to plan the meal or clean up. It felt like the world was taking care of me for 30 minutes.
That sounds lovely. So it's about the comfort and the convenience.
Exactly. But, as we will talk about later, there is also a special magic to the kitchen table that we shouldn't forget.
You mentioned the magic of the kitchen table, Elena. For me, that magic usually smells like rosemary and, well, burnt toast. When I was about 8 years old, my grandmother let me help her with Sunday lunch. I remember she was making this beautiful roast chicken. I thought the chicken looked a bit cold on the counter, so I decided to be helpful. I took my favorite wool scarf and wrapped it around the roasting pan just before she put it in the oven. I thought I was keeping the chicken cozy.
Oh no, James, a wool-flavored dinner? That is a hilarious image, but it is exactly what I mean. Even when things go wrong, there is a story and a personal connection. For me, the magic of home cooking is tied to memory. Scientists call this olfactory memory. That's just a fancy way of saying that smells can bring back very strong memories. When I smell fresh basil, I'm not in my kitchen anymore. I'm back on my aunt's balcony in the middle of summer, listening to the cicadas and drinking lemonade.
Olfactory memory, that's a new one for me. It really is like a time machine. But you also mentioned a sense of pride. I have to be honest, usually after I finish cooking, I just feel tired and look at a big pile of dirty dishes. Where's the pride in that?
I understand that feeling. But think about the process. When you start with raw ingredients, a few carrots, an onion, some spices, and you turn them into a hot soup, you have created something from nothing. It's a small victory. I have a friend who is a very busy surgeon. She told me that even after a 12-hour shift, she loves to come home and chop vegetables. She says the rhythmic sound of the knife on the wooden board is like meditation for her. It helps her relax and feel in control again.
Chopping as meditation. I usually just worry about chopping off a finger, but I did feel that pride last week. I tried to make a spicy Thai curry. I felt like a professional chef until I realized I used 3 tablespoons of chili flakes instead of 3 teaspoons. My face turned as red as a tomato, and I had to drink a whole liter of milk. But hey, I made it myself, and it definitely had a lot of flavor.
Exactly. You were the boss of that curry. When we eat out, we have to accept whatever the chef decides. But at home, you have total control. You can choose to use less salt, more garlic, or, in your case, way too much chili. It's about making the food fit your life rather than fitting your life around a restaurant's menu. Plus, you know exactly what's going onto your plate. There are no hidden ingredients or extra sugars that you didn't ask for.
That is a great point. It's about being the boss of your own health, too. And I must say, my wallet is much happier when I use my own stove instead of an app on my phone. Buying a bag of rice and some beans is much cheaper than paying for delivery fees and tips every night. It makes me feel like I'm finally being a responsible adult, even if I do burn the toast occasionally.
Being a responsible adult can be delicious. And the best part is that you can experiment. Last night, I decided to put a little bit of cinnamon in my beef stew because I read about it in a historical novel. It was a strange idea, but it tasted wonderful. That kind of creativity is hard to find when you are just clicking buttons on a delivery app.
Cinnamon and beef stew? That sounds like something you would find at a very fancy restaurant. That is exactly what I love about eating out. I can try things I would never think to cook in my own kitchen. I remember last summer, I was on vacation and got lost in a tiny city. I found this street food stall in a dark alley. It was just a small wooden cart under a single light bulb. The smell was incredible, like roasted corn and something spicy. I didn't even know what I was ordering because I didn't speak the language well, but it was the best grilled corn with lime and chili I have ever had. It was so simple, but so different from anything I make at home.
That is the magic of eating out, James. You get to travel through your taste buds. When we go to a restaurant or a food stall, we're not just paying for a meal, we're paying for someone's skill and their culture. I recently visited a small family-run Italian place in the city center. The chef came to our table to explain that his family had been making that specific tomato sauce for 3 generations. It felt like I was being invited into their history. It makes the food taste better when you know there's a story behind it.
I totally agree. And honestly, the best part for me is that I don't have to do the dishes. When I try a new recipe at home, my kitchen looks like a disaster area. There are flour and vegetable peels everywhere. At a restaurant, I can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the atmosphere. It feels like a real treat to have a professional handle the hard work while I just focus on the flavors.
It definitely is a treat. It is a very social experience, too. We go to these places to talk, to laugh, and to really focus on the people we are with. Plus, professional chefs have know-how. That is a great phrase for our listeners. Know-how means expert knowledge or skill. A chef has the know-how to balance salt, acid, and heat in a way that is hard for us to do at home. They know exactly how to get that perfect crunch on a piece of chicken or how to make a sauce silky smooth.
I definitely lack that know-how sometimes. I once tried to make sushi after watching a 5-minute video online. It was a total failure. The rice was like glue and the seaweed was stuck to my fingers. I ended up throwing it all away and going to the sushi place down the street. I realized some things are better left to the experts. Do you think eating out helps people understand different cultures better?
I really do. Food is a universal language. You can learn so much about a country's climate and history just by looking at what they serve. Also, restaurants are like stages for human life. I love people watching while I wait for my food. You see grandmothers celebrating birthdays, young couples on their first dates, and business people making deals. It's a window into how people live and interact.
Oh, I'm a professional people watcher. One time I was eating a burger at a local diner and I saw a man try to propose to his girlfriend by hiding the ring inside her milkshake. She almost drank it through the straw. Everyone in the diner stopped eating and held their breath. When she finally saw the ring and said yes, the whole place started clapping. You don't get that kind of excitement sitting on your sofa with a microwave meal.
That sounds like a movie, but that is exactly why we love it. Restaurants provide a space for these memories to happen. It allows us to step away from our daily chores and be fully present in the moment with good food and good company.
I agree, Alina, but let's be honest, we can't eat out every night. My bank account would be very unhappy. Last Tuesday, I tried to be very organized. I decided to fix my broken kitchen cabinet while my pasta was boiling. I thought I could do two things at once. Big mistake. I got so focused on the screwdriver and the hinges that I completely forgot about the stove. 10 minutes later, my kitchen was full of smoke and the pasta was stuck to the bottom of the pot like glue. I ended up eating a cold bowl of cereal for dinner at 10 o'clock at night.
Oh no, James, that is the classic struggle. We want to do everything ourselves, but we just don't have the time or the energy. This is why I love finding a middle ground. I call it the hybrid meal.
Hybrid, like those cars that use both gas and electricity? How does that work with food?
Exactly like that. It is a mix of two things. You buy one part of the meal already cooked, and you prepare the rest at home. For example, yesterday I was exhausted after a long day. Instead of cooking a whole chicken, which takes a long time, I bought a hot rotisserie chicken from the supermarket on my way home. You know, the ones that are already roasted and kept warm under the lights.
Oh, I love those. They smell so good in the car. It is a real test of willpower not to eat a chicken wing while I'm driving home.
It really is. But when I got home, I didn't just eat it out of the bag. I spent 5 minutes making a quick salad with fresh spinach, some walnuts, and a simple lemon dressing. I felt like I had a healthy, home cooked meal, but I didn't have to do the hard work of roasting a bird for an hour. It's about finding a rhythm that fits your lifestyle.
That is a great shortcut. I usually think it has to be either full chef mode or delivery pizza. I never thought about mixing them. My rhythm is usually just fast and messy. I actually tried one of those meal kit boxes once where they send you all the ingredients in a box. I thought it would be easy, but I spent 40 minutes trying to peel a tiny piece of ginger. I felt like I was in a biology lab, not a kitchen. It was more stressful than regular cooking.
Those kids can be very tricky. They look easy in the photos, but they still require a lot of chopping and cleaning. The hybrid method is even simpler. You can buy a pre-made pizza base, but add your own fresh peppers and mushrooms on top. Or buy a jar of pasta sauce, but fry some fresh garlic and onions first to make it taste special. It's about choosing your battles. You decide which part you want to do and which part you want to skip.
So it's not cheating. I always feel a bit guilty if I don't make everything from scratch.
Not at all. A friend of mine who is a professional chef once told me that even in big restaurants, they use shortcuts. They don't make every single item from zero every single day. If the professionals do it to save time and stay sane, we can certainly do it at home. It helps you manage that daily hunger emergency without reaching for unhealthy junk food.
I like that idea. Choosing my battles sounds like a good strategy for me. Maybe next time I am fixing a cabinet, I will just buy the rotisserie chicken first. That way, even if I burn the pasta again, I still have a backup plan. Now, before we finish today, I really want to make sure I understand some of those great words you used earlier. It's time for our vocabulary review.
Great idea, James. Let's start with a very common one. The phrase is comfort food. Repeat after me. Comfort food. Comfort food is food that makes you feel happy, safe, and relaxed. Usually, it is simple food that reminds you of your childhood or your home.
Right. Like when we talked about how I love mashed potatoes when I'm stressed, because my grandmother used to make them for me after a long day at school.
Exactly. Here's another example. On rainy days, my favorite comfort food is a big bowl of tomato soup.
That sounds lovely. What is our next phrase?
The next one is to whip something up. Repeat after me. To whip something up. This means to make something, usually food, very quickly and without much preparation or a difficult recipe.
I remember using this when I tried to make a quick snack for my neighbor last week. I didn't have much in the fridge, so I just tried to whip up some toast with avocado and egg.
Perfect usage. You can also say, if you are hungry, I can whip up a quick salad in 5 minutes.
I'm learning already. Give me the third one.
Our third phrase is a hidden gem. Repeat after me. A hidden gem. A hidden gem is a place that is excellent and special, but not many people know about it yet. It's like finding a secret treasure.
Oh, I love this. It reminds me of that tiny hardware store I found in the alleyway. It looks old and dusty, but they have every tool I need for my DIY projects. It's a total hidden gem.
That's a great example. Or you could say, that little Italian restaurant behind the park is a hidden gem. The pasta is amazing and it's never crowded.
That sounds like a place I need to visit. What's next?
The fourth phrase is to get the best of both worlds. Repeat after me. To get the best of both worlds. This means you get the advantages or benefits of two very different things at the same time.
We use this when talking about the store-bought chicken and the homemade salad. You get the speed of fast food, but the health of a home-cooked meal.
Exactly. A fresh example would be, working from home gives me the best of both worlds. I can stay in my pajamas, but still get my work done.
I definitely agree with that one. And what is the last phrase for today?
The last one is to treat yourself. Repeat after me. To treat yourself. This means to do something special for yourself or buy something nice because you want to enjoy it, especially after working hard.
I did this yesterday. After I finally fixed that broken cabinet in my kitchen, I decided to treat myself to a very expensive bar of dark chocolate.
You deserved it. You can also say, I've had a very long week, so I'm going to treat myself to a professional massage on Saturday.
Whew, that was a lot of food talk, Elena. I don't know about you, but all this chatting about hidden gems and comfort food has made me extremely hungry. My stomach is actually growling.
I can hear it from here, James. But you are right. We have covered so much today. We looked at why some people love the peace of their own kitchen and why others prefer the excitement of a busy restaurant. It really shows that there is no correct way to enjoy a meal.
Exactly. It's all about what you need in the moment. Last week, I actually had a perfect example of this. I tried to be a professional chef and make a fancy lasagna for my neighbor's birthday. I spent 3 hours in the kitchen, but, well, I made a huge mistake. I forgot to add any sauce between the layers. When I took it out of the oven, it was as dry as a desert. It was like eating a giant cheesy cracker.
Oh, James, that sounds like a very crunchy birthday surprise. What did you do?
We laughed so hard. My neighbor was very kind, but we decided to treat ourselves and ordered Chinese food instead. That night, dining out, or rather ordering in, definitely saved the day. The best of both worlds was having a laugh at home, but eating food made by someone who actually knows how to use sauce.
That is a great story. It just proves that even a fail can be fun. I had a lovely experience recently too, but in a different way. I was walking through that large park near the library, the one with all the big oak trees. I found a tiny little wooden kiosk that I had never noticed before. They were selling homemade tomato soup in paper cups. It was so simple, but sitting on a park bench in the sun, it felt like the best meal in the world. Sometimes the best restaurant isn't even a building. It's just a lucky discovery in nature.
I love that. A true hidden gem. So the lesson is, whether you're whipping something up at home or exploring the city, just enjoy the process. To wrap things up, we want to give you a little homework. Don't worry, there's no grading.
That's right. This week, we challenge you to try one new thing. Maybe find a simple recipe online and try to cook it. And remember the sauce, James. Or simply walk into a local cafe or restaurant that you usually walk past. You might find your new favorite spot.
And if you do try something new, tell us about it. Before we go, if you like our show, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. It really helps our little podcast grow, and you'll be the first to know when we have a new chat ready for you.
And please consider leaving a comment or a review. It helps other English learners find us, and we truly enjoy hearing your stories. It makes us feel like we are all part of one big conversation. Thank you so much for listening today.
Thanks, everyone. I'm off to find some lunch, something with plenty of sauce. See you next time.
Goodbye. Happy eating and happy learning.